the Madman! Welcome to another bunch of new cards. There's gonna be enough new cards revealed that we can do this every single day. Begin! Priest Omega card, 3 mana, 3/4. Battlecry, if you have 10 mana crystals, restore 10 health to your hero. A 3 mana, 3/4 is very solid already on the upper tier of stats. So this minion has a lot of flexibility. You can play it as a 3 mana, 3/4 if you needed it to curve out. And 10 health is a lot. So if you do make it to turn 10 against an aggressive deck, then she'll destabilize. And against a mid-range deck, you sometimes drop pretty low. She does best in a meta where there's not a wildly aggressive deck, but there also aren't just control decks who don't care about your health total at all. Astromancer, a mage minion, 7 mana, 5/5. Battlecry, summon a random minion with cost equal to your hand size. Another card for the big mage. And big mage does actually exist. There's a mage out there that has a large hand size, and it often plays Mountain Giant. So would a deck that plays Mountain Giant also play Astromancer? Seems like the two go hand in hand, right? The bad news is Spiteful Summoner didn't see much play in Big Spell Mage, or I should say 0 play, even as the 6 mana version. So Astromancer, I think you could, in the big hand mages, expect it to consistently be able to summon things that are 6+ as long as you're not in terribly dire straits. And 7 mana to get a 5/5 along with your minimum 6 drop is not bad. 7 mana for 2 5/5s, well, that isn't really that spectacular. Sometimes she'll give you more, sometimes she'll give you less, obviously a terrible top deck. It's one of those cards that's going to be hard to rate because it's a rating of, we're gonna try to put it into the big spell mage and the big elemental mage, and either it'll end up being good or it'll end up sucking. It's hard to tell without seeing play. Next up, we have a mage minion with a very new mechanic. 2 mana, 2/1, Battlecry, your next spell this turn has spell damage +2, also an elemental. Spell damage +2 is almost like the Battlecry of this minion is deal 2 damage. And a 2 mana, 2/1 deal 2 damage would be extremely good. It's just that it needs to be used in combination with another spell, and you can't split up the damage on that spell. But where it gets even better than deal 2 damage is when you use it with an AoE. What might be really interesting is you use it with Arcane Explosion and you can deal 3 damage on turn 4. Which would be really good if the meta ever came to a swarm of small minions. And there's a new card in this set that manages to make use of your spell damage. Unexpected Results. This will be an expected combo, which might be unexpectedly good, or it could be expectedly bad. A 4-cost minion can be expected to be about a 4/4, so 6 mana, summon 10/9 worth of stats. Cloning Device just might be the worst card of the set revealed so far. Priest spell, 2 mana, discover a copy of a minion in your opponent's deck. Things that came to mind is that if you Psychic Scream, you can Cloning Device and possibly direct your discover towards like a specific minion you shuffled in. A spell that discovers a card is generally costed at 1 mana, and then that's sometimes run and sometimes not run. More often than not, it appears that it is not run. For some inexplicable reason, this spell that does something that a 1 mana spell sometimes does and sometimes doesn't run, costs 2 mana. I'm not even sure this would see play at 1 mana, but it certainly won't see play at 2 mana. So I can give a pre-rating on this card of 1 star. Not even close. It's as if Draconid Operative, which still has to be played on 5 cost 3 mana, and then it draws you Cloning Device, and then you have to play the Cloning Device. And very similar to that. So that would be valuing Draconid Operative as like a 3 mana 5/6 draw card, which goes to show you both how good Draconid Operative is, as well as how bad Cloning Device is, because no, it's not actually worth 2 mana to do this effect. You would expect a card with Annoyatron featuring as the art to be kind of bad or silly, but Giggling Inventor looks like one of those very, very spooky cards. A bunch of stats on a vanilla card isn't necessarily looked upon that highly, but over time we've trained ourselves to realize the Sludge Belchers, and the Serenite Chain Gangs, and the Tar Creepers, and etc. If you value the Divine Shield at minimum value of 1 health, then it's 5 mana, 4, 7 worth of stats, 6 of which has Taunt. If you value the Divine Shield as like not minimum value, just call it 2 health instead. It's 5 mana for 4/9 worth of stats, 8 of which has taunt. That's extraordinarily good. It gets so much of a board by herself, some of which is bound to be sticky given that the mechs are taunt and Divine Shield. It's awfully tough to clear that all in one go. It requires a minimum of 4 attacks to break past that taunt, whereas a 4 health minion can be broken with 1 4 attack minion. Resilient to AoE because of the Divine Shield. And then you magnetize your mechs. Putting stats on top of a card with Divine Shield is also famously good. Zoo card, anti-aggro card, kinda like Satyr Knight Chain Gang. I can see some pretty widespread play of the Giggling Inventor. And finally, we're ending with a big one, and it's the Priest Legendary spell. 9 mana Xeric's Cloning Gallery. Summon a 1/1 copy of each minion in your deck. And you had to think that the Hearthstone team would consider Priest to be a dangerous class to give a legendary spell to because they have Shadow Visions. That's a lot of value. You're summoning a bunch of copies of minions in your deck. Presumably 7 of them, but sometimes like 5 or 6. So that's like 5/5, 6/6, or 7/7 worth of stats. So with a bunch of Death Rattles, you can almost expect to draw 4 cards with it, considering a lot of the Death Rattles draw you a card. There's some ideas of OTK Priest. So easy combo is just Xeric's Cloning Gallery, Mind Blast, Holy Smite, and you're done. All that's required is you actually have Valen, Malygos, and a Radiant Elemental in your deck, which admittedly is pretty hard. That difficulty is probably going to make this impractical, but interestingly enough, if they die, then you can play your Greater Diamond Spellstone and then summon them back, and also still OTK them with Holy Smite and Mind Blast. Probably the main concern though is why are you doing this over playing Shudderwock? Shudderwock is a less convoluted way of doing it. Why aren't you playing Malygos Druid instead also? So ultimately what I see this as is a value card. Maybe you're playing Quest Priest and you're just getting a bunch of value. Value decks are a little bit on the weak side given that decks like Shudderwock exist. But we'll see, maybe we'll enter a meta in which value is good. So those are today's revealed cards. Check back every day for your latest approximately 5 new cards every day. The good and the bad times, we've been through them all. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around. The Inspira, Wheezing Seal, Gyarados Slowbro, gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all.